writes resumes, LinkedIn profiles, and LinkedIn company pages, focusing on keywords. She's currently working on her doctoral dissertation on the topic of LinkedIn. So welcome, Lynn.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and I'm going to put some links in the chat for you. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. And the one button I should draw your attention to is right here, more gobsmacking resources. If you click on that, you'll find the nonprofit link there and everything else you need to know about me. So get ready to take a screenshot if you don't have the chat available to you. Here is the link to this deck. So I'm going to click slideshow here and grab that link, but I did put the link in the chat. So happy International Women's Day almost, and get ready to put your raincoats on because I'm going to be a fire hose of LinkedIn information today. Okay, our agenda. We only have 20 minutes, so I decided to focus on these 5 areas. So right now, if you are in job search, hopefully you are using some AI tools in your job search because, if you go to an interview, that is what you absolutely positively need to do is show that you are current and modern. AI is not going to take your job. It's somebody using AI that will take your job. So we're going to talk about your LinkedIn banner. It is your billboard. Now, how to make a LinkedIn banner, step-by-step instructions. If I have time at the end, I will do a step-by-step instructions demo. But in case I don't, I just wanted to put the hyperlink in this Google slide deck so that you have those available to you. You can set up a free canva.com account. So what can you put in your banner? So Christy Callahan is on the chat right now. I saw her a little bit ago, and I took a screenshot of her banner, which is Marketing at the Speed of AI. She is a job seeker, and she just earned her AI and machine learning certification from MIT in the fall, and but she obviously uses it in marketing. Now, the bottom one, I didn't put the person's name on, but he is a project manager, and you can put the areas of your expertise. In Christie's case, it's a USP, unique selling proposition. In this other person's case, he's putting down that he's a veteran and that those are his areas of specialty. There's so many other possibilities that you can put on your banner. But let's talk about well-written resume content that can also be used on LinkedIn. So I'm first going to pull up this link right here and show you, let me make this, can I make this a little bit bigger? I guess I can't right now. So this is a resume that I received from somebody who was in marketing. You can see it's highly formatted resume. Maybe it's from Canva or some other platform. This does not work well with applicant tracking systems. And right now there's almost 600 applicant tracking systems. When I wrote a chapter in a book in 2016 with the very famous author of What Color's Your Parachute, Dick Bowles, and 15 other career coaches on the applicant tracking system, there were only over 200 applicant tracking systems. So technology has just, grown immensely since then. So here's page 2. Now, I'm going to tell you, please do not put your resume into ChatGPT and say, create a new resume for me, okay? This is what you're going to get, and this looks like crap, right? It's just plain black and white, and it's not formatted nice, etc. So what you can get is if you have a human involved, you can get a very nice looking resume that has little pops of color, and you can also have that career coach deconstruct it so that it will make it through the applicant tracking system, because we don't want tables, we don't want these columns, we don't want the shading, etc. but you want a targeted profile summary paragraph. You want some core competencies, aka keywords. You want to put a tech stack in, your professional experience. You see, every single bullet point has a metric in it. It's how did you help a company make money, save time, improve processes. So that will go all the way down to the bottom. If you have maybe over 12 to 15 years of experience, maybe on your pretty resume for humans, those might be one-liners versus on your LinkedIn profile, you might have these bullet points with details. So let's take a look at how do we get these metrics. Right now, I'm going to share this prompt that I use. You can use AI to help with your resume, one bullet at a time. But again, please do not put your whole resume into ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite it, because you will get a bunch of crap. So here we're going to go. I'm going to say create an alphabetical bullet pointed list of keywords and key qualifications for this job. Capitalize the first letter of each word. Keywords are typically no longer than 3 words. So we're going to put that in the chat GPT, and let's just go on LinkedIn, and I'm going to put in project manager, and I happen to be in the greater Philadelphia area, even though I used to live in San Francisco. For any of you who know where Guidi Brothers Market is at Filbert and Octavia, I live right across from that. So let's just take this one, senior project manager. All right. So I can take this job description, and I don't want, they actually put the keywords in there. How about that? Let's try a different one. I've never seen that before. Oh, Insight Global. My daughter actually works for Insight Global. So let's just see what this has. It's a very short and sweet job description. So we'll probably have a very short and sweet list of keywords, but you can pop that in there, and here it comes. Boom, just like that. So that's one methodology of getting some keywords that you can put in your resume. All right. Oh, you know what? I have the wrong prompt here. My bad. Okay. Let me fix that. I'm gonna have to go back into ChatGPT, and I'm gonna put in write a new bullet point for a resume that includes a metric with a percent, dollar, or number. Do you understand? Oops. I understand, even though I should have started a new chat. I apologize for this. But needless to say, if you put your bullet point in with that prompt, it will come out with a new bullet point, and it will have fake numbers in it. And you can't go with the fake numbers. You have to put reality in. So maybe it'll give you 1, 2, or 3 placeholders for numbers. Maybe you only know one number. So if you can't think of the percentage that you change things, increased or decreased something, then what you can do is say working on a team of 2, supervising a team of 8, working in a team of 700, working in a company that is on 3 continents, or does 700 million a year, or something like that. So I will get this prompt corrected. I apologize. I didn't notice. I had that error in there, but I will get it fixed a little bit later. So let's talk more about the keywords. So I just showed you, the jobs tab in LinkedIn. So let's take that a step further. Here I use the word project manager, and you can see in the greater Philadelphia area, in the dark blue area, there's 2,302 results. So if I choose project management, a synonym of project manager, the number is increased, 3,164 results. So if I were to take you to somebody's profile here, let me go to Bernadette, you're going to see that Bernadette has project management as the first word in her LinkedIn headline, but she has, here she has project manager down in her about section. So basically, you want to use both forms of the words, but you want to use the one that has the bigger hits. So if I were to go to trends.google.com and I were to look up project manager and I were to compare that to project management, okay? Now I don't want the United States. I'm going to look at Philadelphia, and I'm going to choose the past 90 days. So what I'm finding is that Google Trends mirrors what's happening on LinkedIn. So you have project manager in the blue, bar chart and line chart, and project management. So take a look at what your job titles are by looking up at Google Trends and seeing what is the more popular ones. Now, in the skills section, case and spelling matter. So LinkedIn is a database. So if I go to my skills section and I were to click on the plus sign, if I wanted to use SOP, lots of people try to use those 3 letters. And I go down on this little bar chart here. That is not in LinkedIn's database. That's not down in the drop down, but standard operating procedure is. So I would want to choose that one. All right, I'm going to discard that. So those are called market value filters. You want to choose words that are in LinkedIn's database. Now, you can do the same thing on your job titles. I'm not looking for a job, so I do embellish job titles. But if I was looking for a job, okay, I want to click add a position. And what title am I going to use? I had a client that the other day that was project manager 3. Oops, I got to spell that right. Okay, so we don't want project manager 3. We don't want her to put that in. We want to choose one of these right here because that is what is in LinkedIn's database. And for the people that have LinkedIn Recruiter or LinkedIn Recruiter Lite, they're going to search for those market value filters. So your most current job, I would absolutely positively put a title that matches what you're trying to go for. But any past jobs, I can tell you I have had clients found by embellished job titles. So you're going to have to weigh and balance what is right for you. Now, there's also LinkedIn GitHub Career Explorer. And if you scroll down here to the left, you will find a little spot here where you can put in a job. So if I put in project manager, well, what kind of a project manager are you? So again, you want to choose one that makes sense for you. So let's go with just project manager. So here are some suggested skills that you might want to put in your LinkedIn profile that are from LinkedIn's GitHub. Okay. Now, here is the prompt that I already showed you because I had the wrong prompt in. I'm sorry, I made an error when copying and pasting my one slide. All right, so we've already done that. Now let's talk about your headline. Do you have the right keywords and a unique selling proposition in your headline? So here's an article that I wrote, which is also on my LinkedIn newsletter, but I'm driving you right now to the greatcareers.org nonprofit website. So here are the step-by-step instructions and examples. So I've got the step-by-step instructions here in the deck, but I'm going to get to the bottom line because of the time we have. And I put some entrepreneurial examples in here also. Let me go. So basically, you want to put a keyword or key title, and then keywords, and then your USP. So I am going to do a demo of a USP, but I want you to think about the end result here. How do you become memorable? How do you make an impression? How do you make people laugh or smile? So here's a friend of mine. That's his company. His company is Pig Art Graphics, right? But here he is on LinkedIn. And what does he do? Empowering small businesses with comprehensive digital solutions, web development, graphic design, branding, and marketing. Puff and puff and blow that old website down to make your branding oink. So if you step out of, the comfort zone and do something not quite traditional, then maybe you'll be memorable. So if I were to put the word oink into the LinkedIn search bar, and if I say, oh, gee, I don't remember that person's name, but it's a person, I know I met this person at a networking event, first level person, and guess what? That is a searchable term. So, step outside the box a little bit and go ahead and create something a little bit different. Create a vivid image that might catch somebody's attention. So let's go look at how we write a unique selling proposition. So for my example with project management, we have project management. That was the key title for this person. Leadership, strategic planning, stakeholder management, risk assessment. Now, if I wanted to ask ChatGPT to write the words agile methodologies and team leadership, then here we go. This is going to be a little bit more conservative and not, the fun or funny factor. But we can just easily go into ChatGPT and put that prompt in. And what's going to happen is it's going to come up with some suggestions for us. So right here, I can click on try again and get a second example. The first one says driving success through agile methodologies, strategic planning, and team leadership for impactful results. So I try again and it gives me a second one. I try again and it gives me a third one, et cetera, et cetera. And I can go back and review any of these, but it gives me some fodder, some ideas, planting some seeds in my brain where I'm going to use my own creativity and thought leadership, and I will tweak it accordingly. All right, so I put this prompt, rewrite my LinkedIn headline and summary to make it more engaging and keyword rich for industry. I didn't like it. I wanted to control it. So I typically don't use LinkedIn AI on LinkedIn, but I will use ChatGPT to write various aspects of things, but not for LinkedIn. It's typically more the resume. Same thing for the about section. So here's an article. Is your LinkedIn about section easy to skim and scan, or is it a wall of text? So here's my about section. I had to break it in a few slides. And here's the chapter in the book that I wrote about the applicant tracking system and an article about the applicant tracking system. And then I put my contact links here in this chat. But I asked ChatGPT to rewrite the about section. I didn't like what I got. So let's take a look at Christy, who is on this call. And here she has digital marketing, and then her other keywords, and then her USP. If we go to her about section, here we are starting out, no fluffy adjectives, digital marketing, etc. There's emojis in there, looks great on a mobile device with a little pop of color, icebreakers on here, contact information. And when you get down to her work experience, bullet point, white space, easy to skim and scan, and every single one has a metric in it. So don't use Unicode in the LinkedIn profile because it could be a security issue. and it is not readable by LinkedIn. So here is my contact information. But if you have the link to the first page or you catch it in the chat, that's how you could reach this deck and all this information. And right when I get done here, I will fix that prompt page on the deck so you can put your bullet points from your resume in there and get ideas for some metrics and placeholders. So, do we have any questions? Angie, are you there?
Yes, so we have definitely a lot of comments and questions in the Zoom chat. I was just seeing if our next speaker has arrived. It doesn't seem like it. So you're free to take questions if you have a little bit of time.
I absolutely do. Minutes. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. If you just scroll up in the chat, you can just repeat them and answer them.
Okay, so scrolling up in the chat. Okay. Not sure where I start here. Let's see. Definitely learn how to leverage informational interviews. Yeah. Oh, so speaking of interviews, if you go to, this is my nonprofit, greatcareers.org. If I click on the resources tab and interview resources, there are whoops. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There are articles here as well as 3 videos of a former recruiter. Okay. Let's see. Love all the connections.
Gary is asking, how do you feel about reaching out to people in their inbox on LinkedIn?
Oh, absolutely. So when you were little, your mommy and daddy told you not to talk to strangers. Now that you're a big person, you absolutely positively have to reach out to strangers. So, it's about reaching out to people that you don't know, leveraging your second level connections on LinkedIn. And asking people if they'd be willing to have informational interviews with you. Tell me about your career trajectory at such and such. But you never ask for a job. You only ask for information. Tell me about the culture of the company. And then when somebody says, oh, yeah, this company is really great to work for. Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Because I saw a position of da-da-da-da-da that I want to apply for. And so, then you shut up, because that person may actually get an employee referral bonus. And if they say, oh, well, why don't you send me your resume? I'd be happy to pass it on to the hiring manager. You just got the red carpet rolled out for you. So you definitely want to reach out to people you don't know and ask them if they have, 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes worth of time to have a conversation.
Thank you. I love that. Definitely talk to strangers. That's perfect. We have another question. Can you talk more about the resume formatting and how that makes it hard for software to scan your resume? What should they avoid doing?
You don't want a highly formatted resume because there's all kinds of section breaks in it. When you do a resume, it must be from left to right. I take out the bold, the italics, the shading, the lines, the columns, all kinds of things. So if you go on greatcareers.org website, I've written almost 300 articles. So I did put a link to this article in the deck. It just says ATS. So here's how to avoid the online application black hole. And so here are 19 tips for you that turned into this book that was written by 15 other career coaches with me, and Dick Bowles, the very famous guy who wrote What Color's Your Parachute for 50 Years. So this is the book. You'll find it in chapter 8.
Okay, thank you. So you would say don't use Canva for your resumes?
Absolutely not. No, okay. Word document. And when you're saving the Word document, some people will read these job applications and it'll want you to submit a PDF. Make
Mhm.
sure you don't use that PDF and run it through a printer scanner or take a picture with your phone, because that's not a readable PDF. Go file, print, save as PDF, and if they want a PDF. So bottom line, follow the instructions on the application.
Okay, thank you. Someone asked, there's a lot of debates about 1 page versus 2 page or longer resumes.
Oh,
What's your opinion there?
okay. Here's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. If you're 14 years old, a 1 page resume is great. If
Yeah.
you have a preference, there's some people that swear by 1 page resumes. Good on you. You are entitled to your opinion, but I don't believe that opinion. I think you need at least a 2 page resume in order to get your story there at the top, the profile summary paragraph, and the keywords and perhaps career accomplishments and tech stack and all that. I would never ever go more than a 3 page. I do have senior executives. I have DOs, MDs, PhDs, ESQs, and everything in between, including their kids in college. And so, a senior executive would not have any more than a 3 page. But a 2 page is ideal. But a 1 page will not get me to where I want to go.
Okay, sounds good. We have another question for people who are consultants or who maybe didn't track their metrics over the years and have no way of contacting past customers or like people they worked with or getting those stats. What do? Do they just fake it, or how do they do that?
I think a reasonable guess is acceptable.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say there were 5 people in your department and one was eliminated because you improved some processes. Well, how much do you think that person made, like compared to what you were making at the time? So how much, man hours or dollars or something were saved. So you might have to do some implications of what the results are. But if you can't think of an individual metric, then you can maybe find a team metric or something that doesn't relate to exactly precisely you as an individual, but it's just general information. I have a lot of people who ask me, like, I can't get that, Lynn. And I'm like, I'm going to pull it
Mhm.
out of you. We're going to have a hate love relationship. You will hate working with me, but in the end, you will love me because you never, ever have to do this again. It is hard. It's hard work, but, it
Yeah,
will pay off in time.
that's great. I'm glad they asked that because that applies to me too. I've been a contractor forever and it's hard to pull those out sometimes. We have another question. A couple of people asked this one. They're curious, what are your thoughts on the open to work banner or not using that?
Mm. Okay. If you are a senior level person, then I would say just optimize your LinkedIn profile and don't put the open to work in. But, the open to work will give you potentially an advantage. Like my daughter, I told you, works for Insight Global. And when she was a recruiter, she now does management leadership, women's leadership training. But when she was a recruiter, she would always go to the people who looked like they were open to work because she could place them faster. And if they were qualified, and she would start making her commissions faster. But you
Mm,
must refresh your profile every single month. So let me show you how to do that real quick.
okay.
It's like refreshing a website. So you're going to go to your little mini me. No, sorry. You're going to go over here to profile, public profile and URL. And at the beginning of every month, turn this public profile visibility off and then
Ooh.
turn it on. And then you see how it goes to all LinkedIn members. Make sure you put
Mhm.
it back to public. So if you go to Great Careers and we put the word refresh in, and so also when you've got the open to work banner, don't just put it up there and leave it up there forever and ever. Do this once a month. Repost it so that you let people know that you are available. So I'll put this article in here.
Thank you.
So here's the Great Careers events. Here's our quick list. If you run down here, I haven't put April in here yet, but we run 18 to 25 events a month, and they're pretty much all online. And we do co-promote. So you will see, look at this, we've got Girl Geek here. And I also spoke at the Nonprofit Marketing Summit yesterday. Deepak Chopra spoke there today, and Neil Patel 2 days ago. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I speak a lot for SCORE. So SCORE Silicon Valley, SCORE Los Angeles, SCORE Las Vegas. So you'll find all that on the list.
Awesome. Okay, someone asked, when they reach out to a company, it often takes a few days at least to get a response or a networking chat. And then by the time they get that answer, the job posting is gone and closed. So how do they balance applying early versus waiting for that referral?
Okay, so when you are in this jobs tab, and you put a job in, all right, you might want to look at the date posted, not any time, maybe the past 24 hours, show 288 results. So, there are some platforms maybe that you can potentially use to get notified, or you just pay attention to your email. If this, then that, I think, change things up so it doesn't work like it used to. And then there's, oh my gosh, I can't remember the one that I use, but so I get notified when people book calls with me. And speaking of which, happy to have a chat with anybody. So if we're connected, it's right in the contact information. It's in the bottom of my about section, and it's also in my gobsmacking resources. So happy to help.
Awesome. Yeah, folks, definitely reach out. You can tell she knows everything about LinkedIn. So it would definitely be helpful. We have another question. Is there any tool you suggest to check how good the resume is and compatible with an ATS?
There are several platforms out there who, toot their services, but I am a firm believer of not using one methodology. Okay. So working on my doctoral dissertation, I have to use triangulated research, which means that I have to get research from 3 sources to make it reliable and valid. So I apply that principle. To me, that's a transferable concept. I apply that to keywords. So I do 3 things. I do resumes, LinkedIn profile, keywords, boom. I don't do career assessments. I don't do interview coaching. I might do presentations on interviewing, but it's the keywords. I believe in data-driven decision-making. I have a whole color-coded system. And so, yes, you can get words from ChatGPT, but that is not the only source that you should get them from. And I do have other methodologies. So I do it, and I show clients how to do it for free with the tools that I use. But go ahead and try it. I mean, if you want to pay for the platforms, that's up to you. But I can still guarantee you that it is not the one and be all, one all, or one all be all source to get keywords. I have a client right now in Houston. He says his wife used one platform, and I'm showing him the manual way. And he says, yes, this is a lot longer. I said, yeah, but we're trying to get to the right keywords for you on a brand new profile. So I want you to go through this and then go ahead and try your wife's platform, report back to me and tell me how you feel about that. So there's options. We all have options.
Yeah. Okay. Melissa's asking, should the LinkedIn profile be super detailed these days and the resume should be shorter and customized for each job application? She's trying to understand the difference in the function of each, how each works.
Absolutely. You need to get to a really good, solid base resume, and you can copy and paste all that content into LinkedIn. Like look at Christy, look at Bernadette, those examples that I gave you. And when you have a base resume, you should absolutely positively go file save as ABC company, file save as XYZ company, and at least take 5 minutes to customize the keywords in those 3 columns that I have and change the job title. Now, if you want to take more pains, then you can weave in key phrases from the job description into the resume to further customize it. But the best thing to do is avoid the applicant tracking system and reach out to a human. Humans hire humans, not bots.
Yeah, definitely. Best way to get noticed. JJ is asking, are there any tips to getting more advanced filters on LinkedIn job search? For example, there's no way to really filter down for digital health tech startups, which is what they're looking for.
Yes. Okay, so let's get another article going here. As I said, I've written almost 300 articles. That's next week's articles, my
Oh, wow.
300th. So I will be writing something special for that. But here's something called a Boolean search, and you can do that on LinkedIn, and you can also do that on Google for somebody on LinkedIn. So there really was a dude by the name of George Boole who lived in the 19th century. I know we didn't have internet then, but he was a mathematician, philosopher, and logician. And so this logic formula got applied to the internet, not just LinkedIn, but the internet, with people using and or not. So when you were doing research in, for your high school or college papers, you might have been using Boolean search techniques and you didn't even know it. So what were the terms that she was looking for?
Digital health tech startups.
Okay. So if I go and type digital, whoops, I got to spell that right, don't I? Whoops, my mouse is not working. Digital health. I'm going to just not do tech and startup. Now, digital health, I'm putting in quotes because I want to keep those words glommed together, okay, in the search, and startup is one word. So if I go to Greater Philadelphia, let's see what we've got. Okay, there's 6 results. Now, if I go to United States, all right, there's going to be a lot more. Okay, there's 32 results. And then you can, date posted, anytime, experience level, salary. You can put all these filters and parameters on it if you want an on-site job, remote job, or hybrid job. And then another thing you could do is you could go and look up digital health and capital and hiring. Okay, and see if there's people, is there anybody hiring? Okay. So, you never know what you're going to find here. Okay, let's say first level connections, maybe not. I don't know. Oh, I got 12 people that must have something like that in their profile, or second level. So just, use Boolean search techniques with capital and or not. And then, add those other words on. You can also put in, let's see, let me put the hashtag hiring in. Let me see if that works. Oh, 364 results, okay, for first and level connections. And if I take out my second level and I take out my first level, and then we'll see what happens. So you just have to do a little bit of research and see what you come up with. Next question.
Yeah, I think that's all we're going to have time for. There are more questions I didn't have a chance to get to, but our next speaker is here. This was incredible.
All right.
Thank you so much for extending your session and sticking around to answer.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. And you want more about LinkedIn? I'm actually doing a Score Silicon Valley on Monday. It's LinkedIn for nonprofits. But again, lots of transferable concepts there. So
yeah, absolutely. And